So this is part of our collective effort as how could we further strengthen our plans, especially responding to disasters and more so of these kind of cascading disasters such as COVID, coal, and earlier in the year we collectively worked on how we could respond on landslides, floods, again in the context of COVID. It is an effort to actually make our coordination system more effective. In the past, we only kind of limited ourselves into physical interactions, like in meetings after meetings. But hardly information existed, especially for the larger international and then the national participants who could try to access what's happening, especially when it comes to disaster risk reduction and management. Our Act has very clearly identified that it's not the government alone could do or bring change in disaster risk reduction and management. It's only through the collective efforts of the government agencies, the non-government agencies, the international agencies, the relevant partners, the humanitarian agencies, the private sector, and individuals, families that could only kind of bring this change. Academic institutions are a key partner to it. And so, using that, we would like to again churn out products that could communicate effectively to all different sectors of society. This can only be effective if we all be part of it. And so this is where I'd like to request the UNRC office to mainly kind of take a lead in terms of convening the UN agencies, especially in terms of entering the data and then also validating it. Similarly, we've also kind of requested the AIN, DDGM to validate it for the INGOs. Similarly, for DPNet, for other agencies, we've taken the burden of again validating and requesting all government agencies to be part of it. We've also requested the National DRRMA platform as well to be part of it. So until this, if we don't think it as a playground or a stadium, and if the stadium is built and if we don't have players playing into this, it's not going to be a viable system. So the whole effort behind this is again to make ourselves all accountable, to be part of it, and then to communicate how collectively we could so that we could monitor these progresses over and use it for tracking and how are we faring in terms of reaching our targets for Sendai, reaching our targets at the national level. I don't want to delve much into the COVID and the COVID situation. I don't think it's very clearly kind of expressed what we saw, what we expressed on the ground, and how we could collectively again make it more effective, responding to the current federal systems as well. What I see is we've not been able to really articulate the total caseload of what would likely happen, especially for the COVID. This is something let's start working on it. We've said the decisions made by the last executive committee that took place on the 1st of December. We are new as well. We're building our experiences based on our collective experience for the last 10, 15 years working on similar kind of responses. We'll try to work on the caseload. We've reached out to all high-risk districts, but also moderate-risk districts. We've identified around 11 districts that are considered very high risk in terms of cold wave, another set of districts. So we're also kind of triangulating on those. But we need your help in terms of identifying caseload in the same way that we did for floods and landslides earlier this year. We've shared the decisions and the framework, but what I personally gathered was we were able to share the PowerPoint presentation that was made at the steering committee that outlines some of the resources, some of the work that we put together while preparing the framework. So we're happy to kind of share that. That could also kind of help you all understand where those numbers were coming from. And as we mentioned earlier, though it was decided by the executive committee, we could also treat it as a living document in terms of making it effective. So we need your help as how we could again look at what are the areas of improvements that we could make it. One of the reflections that we drew on during the last executive committee meeting was our looking at the hindsight. We're not able to capture the deaths and the damages, particularly during these winter months. One such case was the snowstorm that took lives of more than 100 people. Perhaps 40 or 50 of them were international tourists visiting. reporters, with families living in those areas. So a storm that happened that was predicted in advance. Despite that, we're not able to save lives, and it did create a huge damage in terms of lives and livelihood in the mountain areas of Manang, Islam, and Dolma regions. The data system, our data system, currently doesn't capture those loss of human lives of something around like 100 people, the destruction that it occurred. So we're also kind of reflecting ourselves as how could we make our data systems effective, and this is only through your critical inputs, your efforts, we could collectively improve it further. So these are the kind of reflections that internally we're having in the team. We're open, our office is just outside the single our premises. Feel free to drop in by, ask for time. Give us a call like if you're passing by. We're happy to hear from you, get your feedback, get your insights, and make it improve it better collectively. We don't want to say that we will do it all by ourselves. This is exactly what the purpose of today's meeting as well.